Education is key to success. We haven't taught up anything. Each one have to teach one. Must bomb beside the one. We haven't taught us. Each one got to teach one. Let's learn from one another. Let's go.
Hello, I'm Khalil Osiris. Welcome to Each One Teach One. Throughout this season, we have shared in the very intimate experiences of people who have faced personal and community challenges with courage and commitment. Today, we catch up with 8 families who have taught, motivated, and inspired us with their journey into the light.
I'm 17. I've always had that fantasy that I'm gonna have kids when I'm 30 and married and successful. Because life just knocked me down.
The Matau family believed that they had warned their daughter Samantha of the dangers of teen pregnancy. But at age 17, she revealed she was pregnant.
So we start to act strange.
Yes.
So we start to check there's something wrong here.
How did you feel when you first realized that you were pregnant?
Disappointment. I was ashamed of myself. Didn't know what I was gonna say to my family.
I was angry.
Yes.
Feel lost. I didn't want to speak to anyone inside the house. And it took me a long time just to settle up.
Was my #1 fan.
I love my kids. We were always together. We go to shopping malls together, do a lot of things together.
And I got everything I wanted. Everything. I enjoyed spending time with my parents. Nintse ke kena ko Athlon Girls, so bashimane nisi ke nahanang. As soon as ka change sekolo ka go Princess ke mo ke tlhakana le bashimane haholo because ne sentse ile sekolo sa banyana le bashimane.
How did you meet this young boy?
We met at school. He was friends with my other friend.
You really liked him that much?
Yeah, I guess at that time, yeah. But now...
You don't think it was worth it?
It's just a decision I made there now.
I was taking I had lost my child. Because now she's pregnant now. It's no more that Samantha that I know. I have to accept it, anything that comes then. And we have to forgive.
Yes.
Whatever it happened, it happened.
Yeah. And what are your plans for yourself now?
Basically finish school. School's my #1 priority right now. Because if I don't finish school, what will my child think of me?
In March, Samantha gave birth to a healthy baby, returning to school just in time to pass her exams. Samantha continues her education, breaking the familiar cycle of undereducated teen mothers. The hell of heroin addiction changed Simon's life forever, leaving him HIV positive and determined to keep others from following his bad decisions.
I grew up with an abusive alcoholic father who taught me these lessons of violence and respect is going through violence. My mom, on the one hand, tried to counteract these lessons that he taught me by trying to instill love and hope and, you know, compassion for my fellow man in me. So it was very conflicting trying to choose sides and who I wanted to be like. I didn't feel like I belonged. I felt like the world was against me. All I felt was pain all the time. I was looking for acceptance. I was looking for something that would make me feel better, you know. I was around about 13 when I was 13 or so when I tried marijuana. It quickly escalated. By the time I was 14, I had left school and I was a full-time Mandrax addict. And my brother and his friends were doing heroin. I got some money and next thing you know, I was on heroin, you know. 2007, My brother and I were hustling for money in Joburg bus station, and there were these little tents there that did HIV testing. So my brother wanted to get tested and, you know, found out that we both were HIV positive. You know, this came about because of one mistake, you know. A needle is like an incubator for HIV. The blood in there, that's all it takes is one time of doing it. I was clean for about 2 years, and I got the call that your brother's life has been taken, and I didn't have the tools necessary to deal with that kind of emotions. I never learned them, I didn't have them. The only thing that I knew that would take away that pain at that moment was drugs. I struggled to deal with a lot of the long-term effects of that the heroin has caused in me. I write for Addict Magazine. Addict Magazine is about educating and empowering people, and I believe in education. Educate the people. Don't just say don't do drugs. Tell them what's going on. Tell them what it is. Tell them how this is going to happen. What's going to happen to you. Tell them what they're facing.
Simon continues to battle addiction, but his honesty illustrates his commitment to keeping others off this path, driving home the lesson that addiction is a self-imposed prison, and we imprison or free ourselves with our choices. Mkhlatsi opened our eyes to the invisible victims of normalized violence, the cycle of violence affecting many young South Africans when they choose to return unprovoked violence with further violence.
Then I decided to go to about peace. I preferred to pay revenge. And I stepped that other boy because the same solution is right for me. I told myself that like I fight with him. Like the first day, my mother prison, I was involved in a gangsterism fight. Like, I'm disappointed.
Especially if you are a single parent,
I started to realize that what I was doing is wrong, like fighting around, being a rude person. I started to try to change. So I started to meet young in prison. Each and every Wednesday I was attending the course, life skill and art and sport. Like those things made me to focus in life. Like when I started doing art, it's where I started to dream, like to see myself achieving. He sentenced me 3 years, I stayed 1 year, 6 months.
I was inside to look at I'm happy. Because I'm working on we understand.
The lessons che ke di rutilego tronkong ke go respecta batho ba bagolo le go tseba gore wena ga botse mo philong o nyakang wa bona.
Today, Mkhlatsi's life is very different. Changing his thinking changed his life. At art school 3 days a week, his paintings are distributed by reputable dealers. After the break, we catch up with people who motivated us to make a difference in our schools, homes, and communities.
Let's learn from one another. Let's go. Let's learn from one another. Let's go.
Welcome back. Each One Teach One has met some remarkable people this season, including those who have served their prison sentences but still care enough to motivate juvenile offenders to make responsible choices when they make their difficult re-entry back to their family and community. finding motivation and guidance as the head of a household of children when you're a child yourself is daunting. But Nico's mission to create a stable home life gave us a great example of how to make the most of available resources.
Mina numa agyani alimpopo kankomo e. Ni vulavula Xitsonga. Ndi kule ku vava mara no ti ku vava lokuya mara I ku kula nje ku hayi ta swi vona mahlweni hi ta vona loko life ya mahlweni. Ni sungule ku dyondza xikolo laha Joni ka grade 1 a ni ri na 8 years se va swi vona ku ri haya I nkulu ngopfu va ni promota va ni yisa ka grade 2 like ni dyondze lembe hinkwaro mara ni ri hetanga mara mina va dlina wa lova.
A family na ka hina a ku nga ri na loyi a nga accepta ku la ku tshama na hina n'wana n'wanyana a ku mhaka ku mana yena o lovini n'wana n'wana a ti vonele plan.
Like mana mina loko va lova I lani nga vona ku ri swa misava nkarhi wun'wana swa cinca misava yi yima so like nkarhi wun'wana nga tshembeli ka munhu wun'we hi mhaka ku ri la misaveni hinkwenu like a yi telangi for permanent kun'wana na kun'wana la for purpose wa fika nkarhi wun'wana na wun'wana lowu nga ta hela. Ni tshama ni ri wexe and wa vona nkarhi wun'wana swa borha like kumbexana I ri teenager like loko kule ka lava vatswari like ku hava lowu a ku kombeta ku ndlela ku ri I endla yini nga endli lexi endla so tshika lexiwani endla so. Ukusayikila ngiqale nge-2011 hayi lapha bengicela ukusayikila my first race yiyo le Dualton bese Pitori.
Ni be surprise loko va byela va ku nyiko u drivela 94.7 next rin va ku nyiko u ya America how
xexo ni nge pfuki ni xi rivarile like xo xo sungula ku pfula tindlela ta mina hinkwato like ku ni kombisa ku ri mfo hambi kala leswi I kala papa I kala yini ne wena ne you can be successful on your own.
By learning to listen and not being afraid to ask questions, Nico changed his family's future. With the help of Africa Cocoon, he is confidently writing his matric and has an internship set up for next year. Committed teachers can make all the difference, as we saw at Liverpool Secondary, where they have created a learning environment that should motivate us all.
I got into teaching because, one, I love children, and two, I've always had an affiliation towards counseling. So I felt the best way to reach communities is to get into the school environment. I lived in London for 8.5 years, and when I was in London, I decided that I wanted to work in a community school in South Africa. So when I did come over, I first worked in Durban for a little while, and then I transferred over to Liverpool Secondary. The first day I walked into my classroom, I was actually quite brokenhearted because there was nothing. My desks were broken, there were no curtains, I had no projector. It wasn't what I was accustomed to. But I thought to myself, hey, let's see how I can change my classroom into a learning environment for the learners. I believe a classroom should be the entrance to the world. Not, the children need to feel warmth. They need to feel that when they walk into the classroom, this teacher is going to make a difference to us. So I changed my entire classroom. I put up motivational sayings. So I started bringing newspapers to the classroom. I started bringing magazines. I got a sponsor to put in curtains. I got a sponsor to get me a projector. I have a corner in my classroom called the Controversial Corner. And I know that the children are receptive to it because we always end up having discussions about the different things that are on the board. And, it just so happened that the day that I decided to do my classroom up, I needed to use the ladies' room. And when I stepped into the girls' toilets, I was mortified. I was so shocked that a school could have a toilet in that condition. And I mean, it's your basic human right to be able to use a proper toilet. So I put together a proposal and I sent it out to a company. And they decided to revamp. And I got lucky because they even gave me pink and purple paint. So the girls were quite happy about it, and it made my day really. Not because I got the toilets done, but because now they could actually go into a little place and there were different colors and it was appealing. And then because of that, I got the boys' toilet done. Little things, I think it gives children the idea that, hey, if she can do it, perhaps we can. We can look after it. My school is special to me, and I believe that every child should be entitled to the basic rights that every child has in private schools, in ex-Model C schools, so why not us?
Today, the school's morale is at an all-time high. Learners are keen to make more changes that will inspire more learning, while Sumaya and the teachers report stronger support from the community and potential sponsors who have seen the positive impact on the school body.
Let's learn from one another. Let's go.
All our guests on Each One Teach One have had a lesson to share with us, but some have inspired us through their passionate drive to live their unique reality as authentically as possible. Jabu knew from an early age that his ancestors had a plan for him, one that would single him out as different, but one he is completely committed to achieving.
Igama lami uJabulani Mdluli, ngakwedlozi igama lami ledlozi ngontabeni kaMjakho. Le ndaba le ekholi ngebizo yacala like kwaza umuntu ubaba umhlophe la kangena out of the studies angena umuntu ubaba naye beka traditional healer athi wena unabaphansi hayi ngithi ayadlala athi serious angitshela ukuthi uphuphe kanje nakanje waphupha umkhulu ogcoke ini yabo unga grade 7 aka grade 7 beku June ubhaliwe ama exam ngiqale ngishike mangishika ngithethe kuyenzakala mangishika kanjalo situkudu sengimazi from la ngiyali nezincwadi zemanzi ay bangise clinic mabangise clinic ay clinic abo next ekugcineni ugokwami wathi hayi ngoba kukanje abaphansi ngeke sibavimbe mabafuna into abo bayifuna ngimtshele ngithi hayi mina sengiyothwasa
mina yabona sesikazongena ephehlweni ngingaba short yayibona loyo nto ngathi hayi man hayi mara ngathi ngoba lento into ekhona emndenini akusinto engaze ngayibalekela
uJabu utrainwe yini la ekhaya nomamncane wakhe lo khona ukuthiwa uMata nalo nomunye ke nabo ukhona naye nabantwana bamke bedlozi yibo kade baza bafike babashayele la ekhaya uma sibashayela sibafundisa konke nezinhlolo ukutraina lokho uma bagida siyafihla sibone ukuthi na ngempela lento esibafihlele yona bazazikhipha
nokufunda into eziningi nje ezila ephehlweni yabo ukuthi sikufundise udla into zakhona uzokwazi ukubona indaba zabantu ukuthi kuyenzakalani yabo ukuthi uhlushwa yini ngifunda la eSABC Thompsonville College isecond year yami level 3 like abaningi lapha esikolweni abazi ukuthi like i-traditional healer like mara labo engihlala nabo nabangani bami bayazi ngiyayithanda into engiyenzayo inhliziyo yami yonke ngiyabekezelela ngasonke isikhathi ngiya-understand ukuthi okay kwamele ngenze kanje nakanje naba ngathi ngumthakathi ngiyaloya ngithi hayi ngiyabonga because ngiyakhula isiphiwo sami ngeke ngisilahle ngingisenze lutho. After 5 years ngifuna ukuzibona ngikude ngale isiphiwo sami ngiphiwe sona because inyanga mabusebenzisa ngendlela yakhona uzokupha ama-results right.
Although some still view Jabu's calling with skepticism, he continues on his path, thankful to the people who love and support him, and thankful for his gift. Musa's life could have been short and tragic, but this remarkable young man fought back after a cancer diagnosis the only way he knew how.
Nigel grade 4, nigla bolo, ngala Ajax ya kozon 12. Nigel shapo kabolo, kidala mnati. until the tournament. Some guy angaya kabika kawa, and then yakalamu nenze kitu wapsi kipenela mwakantamfa painkillers till kibe kipenela non-stop. Then I fita Joburg Hospital, kimo balangeta the test. The results are khutla, and then they told me I have a cancer, osteosarcoma, on my left knee. And then yeah, they said inale cure, but then it was too late for me. They can cure it.
I took it simple as in other illnesses, other diseases, that it has got cure. So it's among toluguta, cancer is complicated kangaga. Then I started to raise my eyebrows and say, "Ow, bantu, kushutumtana mikuti, cancer, ngobuyo nanje. You cannot just have cancer and survive most of the time. So in other ways, I might lose my child. He might lose the part of his body." Bengakhona ukuqinisela lento engiyibonayo. Because here is the boy, but I cannot help him. The doctor will just come, amfake izinto lana emakhaleni ukuthi I stop bleeding and
Listen to spedele hisu, bana ba henu kibana some of my friends bana mahlokala, to an extent that then I feel like I'm the next. I admitted to that I want the doctors to cut this leg because it limits my dreams. And I'm going to be cured actually. So yeah, the day before there's this dude at Ling. He was on a wheelchair and he told me, you know what, dude, your future is bright, But then I didn't know the message, the meaning of the message. My future is bright. But then I get told, okay, cool. The message was, Musa, going to be somebody after the amputation.
I nearly committed suicide anyway. Until almost I kulmenam. Mhlambe kuyakazanga kulmenam. Mhlambe ngabe sikhuluma something else today. What I've realized about him is that he's a very strong boy. He made me feel ngikhona ukuphola, ngikhona ukuthi ngibe right emoyeni because it was not easy for me as a mother.
Don't stop chasing your dream. Stop believing in impossibilities. The word impossible, just break it into two. I am possible. Then nothing's going to stand in your way.
Musa's philosophy really sums up how we all should approach life, as a series of choices determining our success or failure. Choices that can very easily be influenced by our self-imposed limitations, but should be made based on what we think we're capable of. And when we've achieved our goals or overcome our challenges, we need to share. When each one teaches one, we lighten their load. I'm Khalil Osiris, and until we meet again, stay in the light.